What's going on, guys? Eric coming back at you from the Nerd Cave, which is currently, some of the corners are looking nice. Some of it is a little more in disarray right now. Did take a few of those games and we went and did a trade. In the process of doing that, we got some interesting things. We did get Super Nintendo, some GameCubes, and a whole mess of cords we're trying to go through, so that's fun. A ton of controllers. So my couch is currently covered in controllers, so always a good time there. But yeah, lots and lots of stuff to sort. We did trade 6 games. Got a PS1, I got a PS2, N64. I have some Wii's that I've had. If anybody needs a Wii, got a bunch of Wii's still. So yeah, so a bit of a mess in here. Don't love that. I like to generally keep it fairly clean and organized in this room, but I got a bunch of stuff I didn't know where I was going to put it. So I did actually have to go out to Walmart. I bought another one of these drawer situations here. It's 5 drawer. Believe it or not, these cost $35 at Walmart, which is insane. They don't put prices on the shelves for a lot of the stuff in the tote aisle. If you've ever been down the tote aisle, you may know that. So, terrible choice. $35 a little expensive. It does serve the purpose that I need, so that's nice. If anybody needs some vintage Masters of the Universe figures, or more vintage Masters of the Universe figures, Batman. Vintage Batman figures, anybody? Vintage Transformers. Well, I have 2 of those Spider-Mans. Those just sold, so I gotta send those out. More Transformers. Hey. It's a drone. A Splinter Cell drone. If anybody needs that. Picked up this Turtles thing at Goodwill last night. You may have seen that if you follow me on Facebook. Storage crate. It's pretty awesome. Like I mentioned, we did take a handful of games over there to trade. Came away with a bunch of stuff. Got a ton of Xbox games. Got a whole mess of Xbox games I gotta go through. Stay tuned and see everything that we pick up. What's going on?
Another day in paradise.
How y'all doing?
Good.
Oh, you got your little, is
Yeah.
that what you're taking all your footage with?
I'm all
Stuff?
strapped up.
People don't look at you funny when you're going around to places with that?
Sometimes, but people look at me funny either way. I'm a big old ginger. It's mostly like newer stuff, and he's like, "Oh, I got video games." And then we start digging into the video games. I'm like,
so that wasn't even like the first thing, huh? Video games wasn't even like the first thing?
No,
Oh, man.
no, yeah. He's like, "Oh, I have video games." He's like, "I have an ottoman full of video games," and I'm like, "Oh, that's not going to be that many video games." And for all intents and purposes, it wasn't. I think I bought like 70 games, if that. Probably less, honestly. We started breaking those out, and I just started making stacks and making stack offers, and let him and his wife go through it. I'm like, if there's anything you want to keep, you want to take out of the stack, like it's cool.
Yeah, I just don't have time to go through and install all this shit anymore. I've been working so much.
Yeah.
But
More
that's
extras.
Genesis bundle
Nice.
there. I mean, those don't go for much, but Super Nintendo bundle I got listed there
Oh,
with another Mario World. NES stuff.
sweet.
And the giant box of Xbox.
Mhm.
And I know you said you weren't into Atari stuff, but you don't let me do.
No, thank you.
Nobody wants that shit around.
So honestly, when I go like the stuff that I could get possibly for on like the lower end that I could like make something on, like that's great. But like the Atari stuff, typically when I take it even in do like trade in, I end up having to like basically give it to them.
Yeah, it's be like 60 or something like that.
All right.
That's what I've done that before. Yeah, just throw a couple more loose games in there for a bundle, whatever.
Consoles are such a nightmare to me.
Oh, yeah, only for like Facebook Marketplace. That's like the only thing I can do with a console.
My issue with Facebook Marketplace, and I mean, is I'm gonna get 47% people who are gonna like waste my time.
I
Like,
had a guy.
40% people are gonna be flaky. Yeah, and that's kind of what I would say with that stuff. Like, as far as I look at it, like if I can sell it to you at
that discount plus a little additional discount on top of that, and you get, you know, relatively a good deal on a game you don't really see, and like,
So it's like how
that's
how many hours are you saving and all
Right.
that stuff, not having to photograph it and list it and cover your ass and pay your taxes. And
this
pay all
stuff
that
isn't that bad, but
Well, when you have a lot of it, like you do, it is. It'd take you, like, how long did it take you just to, you know, look it all up and get the prices on it? That was how many hours you spent doing that. Then you gotta.
it took a little bit.
And you gotta kind of repeat that process, putting it up on eBay. But it's super quick with the phone, just like taking the pictures of it and posting it like right away.
That Lunar is complete, by the way.
What's that?
That Lunar is complete, by the way.
Oh yeah, I gotta see that. I just wanted to show you this. I don't know if you ever held one.
Oh, a Neo Geo game? No. I'm sure you're keeping the.
Oh yes, it's like the only Neo
So
Geo games I
massive.
have on my shelf. So
I didn't want to like.
look at
force
the
it.
size of those cartridges.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
It's massive.
It's like a house.
But
That's ridiculous. That's awesome though.
yeah, there's 2 boards in it. Too.
Is that an English game?
No,
or-
it's
Oh, it
Japanese,
is
but
Japanese?
it plays in the same region as the console is.
Oh, okay.
Massive cartridge slot.
So
Japanese manual.
even though it's a Japanese game, it'll play in English because you have an English console.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I think you can even switch the consoles too, because my Neo Geo CD came from Japan, but you just solder a little bridge on there to select the region on the inside, so I changed mine to English.
That's
US
crazy.
region. See, I used to have this one back in the day, Fatal Fury Special.
A game that I would have thought would have more value.
Which one?
This one. It's a game like
That
me and
was
my brother
everywhere.
played all the time
I
back in
know.
the day. Though it was like such a fun
My
game.
cousins had that one. That's where my cousins were introducing me to the Nintendo back when I was like 4 years old. We used to play that. We'd play Metroid. We played Contra. I don't know how. Don't ask me how, but we beat Contra all the way, like to the final brain and everything. Like I don't remember how we did it.
Tweaking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's got like a couple like very minor edge scuffs, but I mean the manual has never been taken out.
Yeah, it doesn't
like
look like it.
the outside jewel case is immaculate. Like, I mean, yeah, that could be replaced, but it is nice that it's not cracked. You know, I think the only one that was on the lower end was the Batman. I mean, the other Xbox one is like $25 game, and that's again only because it's in pretty nice shape. There's stickers on it.
It's a nice shape.
And then the Batman, I think I had 15 on, which was surprising. I really thought that would have been better. Like
Yeah, some of
I don't
them.
know that I've ever seen that game like at all.
Since I know you want that, it doesn't really mean anything to me. It means something to you.
It's-
Just shelf filler right there.
So it's funny. I was at this guy's house yesterday, and he was like, "Oh, does anybody do Laserdisc?" And I was like, "Oh, I actually know a guy who does Laserdisc." I was like, "I don't know much about it," and he was like, "Oh, do you want to look at it?" And then it was in like a box in the closet, so we couldn't get to it right then. But I was like, "Well, if you find mall rats, like let me know, because like now I know that exists and I want it."
Yeah, right.
My foot is all wet. Pins and needles.
Did you say yes to the Genesis?
Ah.
Not sure.
I feel like I'm gonna have to offer you so little for it. It's not gonna make sense because it's just like and I end up selling it at like a yard sale or something for $30.
Yeah,
or, you know, like
pretty much right. Yeah, red
yeah, that's
PlayStation controller. But yeah, I got tons of controllers in there. If you need any of those, got the white one.
So is this gonna be like mostly super lower dollar stuff, or is it like a mix?
Yeah, it's like I don't think there's anything in there worth more than 15.
Like, pretty much my cutoff is like if it's less than $13, I won't bother eBaying it at all. Like,
Oh yeah.
it's not worth it for me.
Yeah, there was a few good ones in there.
There might be some decent ones. I'm basically just separating them out into stuff that's like $5 or less, and then stuff that's under $10.
Man, Prince of Persia was such a good game too.
Yeah, it seems to really not matter at all when it comes to like how popular games are. Like, it really just has to do with how produced they were, I feel like.
Yep. The less popular ones are definitely the more money.
Yeah. I don't know if you ever heard of Versus, but it's a Japanese zombie movie.
Yeah, there's something like that.
And I found it like with the case and stuff,
Oh, yeah.
and it's not like $1 million or anything, but it's like a $25 DVD,
Yeah.
which is decent. It's like 99 cents there or whatever, because they were going out of business. And I just sold that. I don't know if you saw that Nickelodeon sign that I had. I don't know if I showed you that when you were over there. It was like in the shape of the state of Florida. It was sitting on top of my Atari.
I probably saw it. Yeah.
But it's got like a bunch of signatures on it. I just sold that for $1,200. So I'm like, you want to do a $60 return? Like, that's fine.
Wow.
Yeah, that sale was crazy. Yeah, it's like a vintage Nickelodeon sign from the park, and it was signed by like a bunch of the crew that worked on like Guts and
Oh wow.
Double Dare and that kind of
when I was a
stuff.
kid.
Yeah, man. It was from the sign. Somebody dated it. It was from like 1993.
Wow. Yeah, that was the time. That was the time I was watching that one.
Yeah, it was cool, man.
Terrible racing game. I hated that game.
Apparently, people generally agree with you. See if the first one's any better. Yeah, number one's not any better.
Yeah, I don't think so.
This is sports game level.
Really? That bad? Damn, that sucks.
A lot of that
not
stuff.
like I can. It just breaks my heart for some of the games that I liked being in that category. You know?
I feel that way all the time. I just bought, and it was more of like an impulse buy because I loved the game when I was a kid. I don't know if you ever heard of Airblade on PS2, but it came out around the time that Tony Hawk was popular, and it was very much in the same vein, but instead of a skateboard, you rode a hoverboard.
Oh, no, okay.
And I just thought it was like the coolest thing as a kid.
My friends were all into Tony Hawk.
This is one of those games that I feel like should be worth like way more than it is. 'Cause
Yeah.
it goes for like a couple dollars.
Yeah,
but
is that
it's
the one
like,
that JSR? Yeah, that one. If you find that one by itself, goes for some money.
by itself is great, but the two together, which is so stupid,
doesn't make any
like,
sense
you get
whatsoever.
an additional game. Like,
Yeah.
why would anybody be upset
Yeah,
about that?
because
But
that one that's by itself, like, probably didn't exist very much.
I actually bought my Dreamcast specifically to buy Grandia 2 and Jet Grind Radio.
Oh, really?
I own 5 Dreamcast games.
Mhm.
But I think those 5 games are so good. I think it warrants owning the Dreamcast.
I just stuff on it, so I burned a disc with all the NES games on it. We played.
This is the best game in here.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Barely this. Does it have its manual?
No.
Ah, that hurts it. But apparently, even without a manual, this should be like $15.
Wow.
This is like all bulk, though. I'm gonna make you a fairly aggressively low offer on this, just for the record, because my shelf's full, so I literally have no place to put any of
Yard
this.
sale.
So it's all gonna go super cheap. But you know, if I could still get it at a point where I can sell it super cheap and make money on it,
Yeah.
you get games you want. Everybody wins.
And I get free up some space
Yeah.
for some more games.
I mean, I'm fortunate that I've been able to have a little more of that opportunity because I spend a lot of time like promoting myself and publicizing myself and so like
doing the YouTube stuff and all that.
yeah.
It always blows my mind when I'm watching people on YouTube and then like fans just send them for, you know, good Like they'll just send them random boxes of stuff. Like
Yeah.
I'd love to get to that point. I don't know if I got the camera personality, but it goes through all that. I mean, if you need any controllers, then I got so many controllers I don't want, don't need. Sega Master System and Tetris.
I just bought Tetris, so I know what that goes for.
Yeah. Probably
That's-
nothing. That thing goes. That was like super common.
Yeah, it still is like in the just south of 10 range.
Really? I'm surprised.
Which, I mean, it's Tetris, right?
Yeah.
Like people love Tetris.
Yeah, but everybody had Tetris.
Yeah, it's not because it's rare at all. It's, in that case, I feel like it is just because it's good.
Play that. Pepper. What's she doing? Getting nosy. Yeah, the verse ago. It was listed on Craigslist for like 2 months. Rambling on something. Forget what I was doing.
But it's, I won't pretend like I'm incredible at it. It isn't. This is, of course, the one that's in an original case.
Yeah,
though.
oh,
You got
is it
those
the
in
one-
like DVD
Oh,
cases.
Luigi wasn't?
I think Luigi is, but the other
Yeah,
three
Luigi
aren't.
is,
Yeah. Sneak it out of there. Cool.
I can never get working.
Yeah.
I've tried everything to this cartridge. I cannot get it to work.
That's crazy.
And it's a good seller too. I can sell GoldenEye easy like $25.
Right.
Faster on the board. I clean all the content of the microscope. There's a light or something.
Before my battery dies, I shouldn't only get this room. I'm just gonna
Oh yeah.
spin around this room. While we're here, might as well capture it, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you said you have cords for all these, right?
All the GameCubes, yes. That's one GameCube brick.
Sweet.
2, 3. There's 3 GameCubes there, right? Okay,
Yeah.
3 GameCube bricks. Oh, there it is. There's the power brick for the PS1.
Nice.
Alright. GameCube. That looks like an OEM one. Super Nintendo. There's already one in the Super Nintendo box. So that's one GameCube.
Yeah, I think there was one N64 controller with a good joystick.
Really? Well, hey, that's pretty good odds these days, huh?
We, in this video, did not capture the final trade on camera, so just wanted to come in and give a little breakdown of what the final trade was. So we did trade for all games we got in the last video. If you haven't checked out Wednesday's video, buying games from one of the original Dungeons and Dragons artists, definitely go check that out because we got some pretty awesome games in that. You are going to hear some of them on this list. We did already trade. So Contra Hardcore for Genesis, that was cart only. Streets of Rage for Genesis, complete in box. Xbox Batman Sin Zoo, complete in box. Kung Fu Chaos for Xbox, complete in box. Mortal Kombat Trilogy for PlayStation 1, also complete in box. Suikoden 2 for PS1, that was definitely a big one. You guys saw us pay quite a bit of money for that game. For PS1, complete in box, excellent condition copy. You do see us open that in that last video, so if anybody wants to see that. We did also trade Suikoden 3 for PS2 and the Lunar 2 Collector's Edition for PS1, which if anybody's ever seen that, definitely a hard game to come by. Now we're getting into the list of things that we picked up. So first and foremost, we got $200 in cash. So that was right on top of all the things that we traded for. We then did also get 3 GameCubes, 1 Nintendo 64, 1 PS2 Slim, 1 PlayStation 1 Slim, 1 Super Nintendo, 1 Nintendo, 10 NES games, 12 SNES games. We'll go ahead and throw up some B-roll on screen so you can see some of the better games that we picked up. There's a lot of shovelware, but we did get some cool games in there for sure, so I'll throw some of those up on screen. So 12 SNES games, 1 Game Boy game being Tetris, 5 GameCube games, 200-ish original Xbox games. And then we did get a handful of games for other systems. We got like a sleeve for Wii Sports and some other assorted stuff. And then we did also get 5 OEM N64 controllers. As you did see, those did have broken sticks. Except for one, we did get one OEM N64 controller. Thankfully, it is the Atomic Purple controller, so definitely a good one to get. That one has a nice stick, so it works great. 2 PS1 controllers, an NES Advantage, a PS1 4-player adapter, 1 OEM GameCube controller, 1 aftermarket GameCube controller, 2 Super Nintendo controllers, 1 Super Nintendo mouse, 2 NES controllers, and 1 Xbox controller. So quite a bit of stuff on top of the $200. We did, as I mentioned, trade. We did trade a total of 8 games for that. So starting to make our money back little by little. Only got a little bit of money. Really what we bought ourselves in this instance is a whole ton of processing work with cords and controllers all over my nice room. So I need to get busy with that. If you enjoyed today's content, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps us out a ton. Thank you so much for watching, and when you see those toys and video games off in the distance, remember that it's not a mirage. You guys have a great day.